What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Mind Something. If you're new here, my name is Jake, and in today's video we've got 4070 Ti price leaks. We've also got sad news for an ergo pool. Son of a Tech interviews the Ghostdag author, and AMD 7900 XTX and XT going toe-to-toe with the 4080 and some benchmarks. We're going to take a look at that. Also, we're going to take a look at the top mineable coins, and the difficulty seems to be dropping across everything. And we're also going to take a look at some of the top headlines from Cointelegraph. So you know the drill. Do me a favor, hit the like and hit the subscribe, and let's just jump straight in. I wanted to take a look at the solar array and just give you guys an update on solar production here. So we did manage to get over 4,000 watts today. It's been a while, having a lot of clouds, but as you can see, cloudy most of the morning and then cloudy late in the afternoon, but we did manage to get about 18 kilowatt hours out of the solar panels. And you know, this month has been a lot of cloud cover. I want to just kind of go through the previous days here so that you guys can get an idea of what it's been looking like. So that was yesterday. Day before, this was a nice clear day, but as you can see, we did not crack 4,000 watts here. And then the day before that, so this is the 5th of December, or excuse me, the 6th of December. This is the 5th, still not cracking 4,000 watts. But if we go back to today's production, you can see we did just peak over 4,000. We got to about 4,500 watts. So there's going to be good days, going to be bad days. All in all, December is not a great month so far, which should be expected, I suppose. But, you know, typically we're sitting at about 30 to 35 kilowatt hours produced per day. And so far, our best day was about 22 kilowatt hours so far. Anyways, I just thought I'd give you guys an update. Let's go ahead and take a look at the crypto market real quick. So right now we've got a little dip. Time of recording is about 9 p.m. on Sunday evening. Right now Bitcoin is 16,900. Ethereum is down to 1244. XRP is at 37 cents. Dogecoin is down below 9 cents at 0.88. Cardano at 30 cents. Polygon at 87 cents. Polkadot at $5.06. Litecoin at $75. I did notice a nice pump from Toncoin. Look at this, up 10% on the week and 8% in the last 24 hours, and it's currently sitting at $2 even, or $1.98 now. But yeah, I guess Toncoin has some news that I missed, but I'll definitely take a look at that and see if there's anything interesting to share with you guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at Kaspa. We are back into the 0.006 range, currently sitting at 0.0069, down about 5% on the 24-hour chart. And let's take a look at Radiant. Radiant's down about 2% on the day at 0.0016. Flux is down also about 2%, currently at about 50 cents. And if this gets much lower, I may have to pick up a little bit of Flux. Also, let's take a look at Ergo real quick. Ergo also down about 2% at $1.36. Let's go ahead and jump into Whattomine, take a look at the farm. So as you can see, Neoxa negative $4.79, Ravencoin negative $4.82. Flux is sitting at negative $3.78, Meowcoin negative $5.54, Ergo is negative $3, and Kaspa is negative 4 cents. Now this is all at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. I'm just going to go ahead and update this real quick. So I am sitting at about 6.5 cents, and that would put Kaspa at $1.22, which, you know, is profitable, but with about 26 graphics cards, that's just pennies per day, and I would imagine a loss on some of them. Let's go ahead and take a look at profitability on Radiant real quick. And someone had asked me in Discord how I managed to get 22 gigahash at 2000 watts. And I went back and took a look at all of that. I was not including the 3080 Ti that I have in my desktop, which is using about 140 watts. So we're going to enter that. And keep in mind, guys, this is based on software, not at the wall. So probably more like 2300 watts or so. But we are currently still slightly profitable on Radiant, but it's very close to Kaspa. I think Kaspa was what, $1.11? Right now Radiant's at $6.56 a day in revenue and $1.43 after power. So it's getting rough out there, guys, getting rough. I hope you are continuing to educate yourself and trying to get as efficient as possible. And if you're sitting above 10 cents per kilowatt hour, then great time to dismantle the rigs and clean those suckers up. But you know, you do you, I'll do me, right? Next, I wanted to take a look at the top coins that are mineable because I noticed something here. So if you look on the far right hand side, you're going to see difficulty 7-day % change. And we talked about this on the last video that Bitcoin was down over 7% on difficulty, but look at this. Dogecoin is down 18%, Litecoin is down almost 2%, Ethereum Classic down 3%, Bitcoin Cash down 12%, Bitcoin SV down 12%, Zcash is actually up almost 4%, and Dash is down almost 30%. Ethereum, I believe this would be ETHW. It's referred to as ETHPOW here. But that's down about 2.5%. This one's interesting. ZIL is up 33%, and so is, I believe it's pronounced Decred, 32%. Bitcoin Gold up about 9%. Ravencoin down 18%. Cadena is down less than 1%. Chia is up about 4%. And look at this, Flux is down 13, almost 14%, which is significant. And I want to go take a look at the difficulty chart real quick on Flux. So right now we did, I think, hit a bottom below 60, so 59.59 earlier today. And let's take a look at this yearly chart again. So as you can see, today we did drop down to our lowest that we've been at since the merge. So there's a lot of new coins to mine. I think hash rate is spreading out quite a bit. Everybody's hoping to accumulate something that's going to do well in the bull run. But it is interesting to see how many people are giving up at this point. I think we're going to continue to see more people giving up. And you know, I hope that you guys are sitting at a point with your electricity price that you don't have to give up. Because, you know, if you've listened to a lot of the other YouTubers and the advice that's been given, the best time or the most profitable time is to mine when everybody else is giving up, right? But you can't really do that if it doesn't make sense financially, right? If it costs more to mine it than it does to purchase it, then it just makes more sense to purchase it, right? If you're just trying to accumulate. So don't be scared to shut off. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I'm getting to that point where it may be time to go ahead and start shutting some of them down and making some changes, kind of rearranging things. But you know, if you're just trying to accumulate the most amount of coins and it makes more sense to buy it, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, guys. Just keep that in mind. Anyways, moving on, let's talk about some of the articles that I've been seeing on Cointelegraph. Some of these are kind of comical. So Sam Bankman-Fried's parents no longer on the Stanford Law School roster, which I'm surprised that it's taken this long, I guess. How can you possibly morally try to teach people ethics and laws around securities when your son does something like this? It massive conflict of interest. And if you guys have been listening to the channel, you know that I suspect that the ties between his parents, Gary Gensler at the SEC, and Caroline's parents also, it's just a huge tangled mess. And yeah, to see them no longer being part of the staff there is fulfilling to me. Anyway, so what else we got? So we got a couple of other articles that I wanted to share with you, and we won't read them all. I just wanted to cover the highlights here. So Bitcoin's boring price action allows XMR, TON, TWT, and Axie Infinity to gather strength. 3 commas denies staff members stole API keys. Binance's proof of reserves raises red flags. Let's see here. Former top SEC crypto regulator hired by Caroline Ellison. So we've got Sam Bankman-Fried hiring the lawyer for El Chapo, and Ghislaine, was it Ghislaine or Ghislaine? I'm not sure. Anyway, Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, whoever she was. So we've got Sam Bankman-Fried didn't like decentralized Bitcoin, according to ARK investor Kathy Woods. Abnormal token price movements on Binance not hack related, confirms CZ. FTT investors claims to be investigated for securities laws violations. And Supreme Court case could kill Facebook and other socials, allowing blockchain to replace them. That is an interesting one. What else we got here? There was something that I saw in regards to mining. Yeah, I don't know. Can't see it anymore. Anyways, moving on. Let's take a look at this article from NVIDIA, or excuse me, WCCF Tech, talking about the price of the 4070 Ti. Around $899 MSRP, which, as you probably are already aware, was the price of what it was originally, which was the 4080 12 gig. So it turns out that NVIDIA is considering launching the GeForce RTX 4070 Ti at an MSRP of $899. This is the pricing that is currently being told to AICs, and the one that is tentatively the final MSRP for the upcoming launch. At a Founders Edition MSRP of $899, partners lucky enough to get custom variants at B2B prices can also expect custom variants about $50 less below this mark, making the RTX 4070 Ti at $849 the most affordable 88 Lovelace-based NVIDIA GPU yet. NVIDIA is thinking of relaunching the RTX 4070 Ti at $899 MSRP price point. NVIDIA has previously launched the NVIDIA RTX 4070 Ti as the RTX 4080 12 gig, and with the relaunch of the 4070 Ti coming up, AICs have started taking orders from their industry partners for the relatively affordable graphics card. Keep in mind, however, that Jensen wields the black leather jacket and all of us must submit to its power. So he could very well snap his fingers and change the MSRP at the very last moment should he want to. This is also why I am still tagging this post as a rumor, because until the marketing and documentation gets made for the launch, details like this can still change. That said, we do have confirmation that from multiple sources that this is the price point being used for AICs to start generating orders of the RTX 4070 Ti. Interestingly, this would make the RTX 4070 Ti have a far better price point than the RTX 4080. One of the reasons for the RTX 4080 not selling as well as the 4090 is because it offers far lower frames per second performance per dollar. Obviously, other reasons also play a role, like the market segment that will buy the absolute best graphics cards will buy the RTX 4090, while the $1199 price point is not low enough to start hitting the mainstream segments. But this is a major pain point, and the RTX 4070 Ti should offer decently improved value, as you can see from the table below. You know what, I'm not going to read the rest of this because at this point I want to go ahead and point out the fact that if they think they're going to sell 4070 Ti's for $899, they got another thing coming, because take a look at this. We've got the RTX, or excuse me, the RX 7900 XTX versus the RTX 4080 versus the RX 7900 XT. So we don't know for certain that these are legitimate. I personally am leaning towards them being legitimate. I don't think whoever this person is would go through the trouble of making a 10-minute video with all of these frames per second being generated or edited. I think these are perhaps probably legit numbers, but we don't have any official benchmarks other than the, not on necessarily games, but on synthetic tests. So taking a look first at God of War, the 7900 XTX coming in at 113 frames per second, a 4080 12 gig coming, or excuse me, 16 gig coming in at 105 frames per second, and the 7900 XT matching that at 105 frames per second. Then we've got Cyberpunk 2077. Let's see what we got here. 86 frames per second on the 7900 XT, 65 on the 4080, and 71 on the 7900 XT. Then we've got Assassin's Creed, 114 frames per second on the 7900 XTX, 94 frames per second on the 4080, and 101 on the 7900 XT. Then we've got 87 frames per second, 84, 76, 105, 195. This is, what game is this? This one is Doom Eternal. 267 frames per second versus 250 versus 241. And we've got Horizon, 128, 115, 109, just to give you a little bit of idea of what we're looking at. So as far as synthetic benchmarks are concerned, it looks like there are some instances where the 7900 XTX is outperforming the 4080, but in the majority, I would say the 4080 was outperforming it. But those are synthetic tests. These aren't actual benchmarks against real games. So, you know, is this particular test from Mr. Mark PC legitimate? We'll just have to wait and see. We've only got a couple of days left. Speaking of which, today is the 11th as I'm recording the video. You guys will be watching it on the 12th. So that means we only have 1 day left before the launch. And I'm curious, are you going to be buying a 7900 XTX or an XT? If you are, leave a comment down below. I'd like to know which variant you are trying to get and where you're purchasing it. I would love to get one myself so that I could test hash rates for you guys. Anyways, next article was in regards to, or not article, but this is a post from getblock.io. And in case you guys weren't aware of this, it's a sad day for proof of work mining. Truly a sad day. Since the conception of the Smart Pool, it has been our goal to provide a decentralized mining platform for miners alike to be able to contribute and participate in the novel technology of smart pooling. As many know, the Smart Pool requires significant development and infrastructure. While building value for the end user, the infrastructure required for the Smart Pool has been significantly higher than the mining fees generated. Following the Ethereum merge, this problem has been compounded by the larger pools dominating the hash rate on Ergo. While we have attempted to take steps to reduce the infrastructure, hosting the mining pool is not profitable and in fact a complete loss. Unfortunately, getblock.io will be shutting down the Smart Pool until further notice. It was a very difficult decision made by the team and is truly a sad day for proof of work mining. What's next? We will be shutting down the Stratums on December 11th. All minimum payout thresholds will be set to 0, so no miner funds or balances are left behind. Additionally, we will ensure that all back payments are processed before shutting down the dashboard. All tokens that are within the emissions contract will be returned to the various projects once all payouts to miners are completed. The future of the Smart Pool as it stands now is unknown. The team will reevaluate in the future under different economic conditions. Thank you. We are sincerely grateful for all the community members that have contributed to the Smart Pool. We truly appreciate all of the support to date. This is bye for now, but be sure to keep an eye out for what's to come in the future. And this does make me extremely sad, guys. You know, when it came to transparency on a pool, there's always a lot of speculation that pools are skimming off the top and there's malicious behavior. But having a smart pool like this gave us a lot of transparency that was much needed. And to see it go away is very unfortunate. But perhaps someone else will pick up the torch and carry on. I don't know if that will happen on Ergo, but maybe something else. But to all of the people that had a hand in this, I just wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate everything that you did. And it brings me to a subject that has kind of come up several times here recently. We talked about it on Kaspa when the devs were asking for a miner tax, and then we talked about it on Radiant when the suggestion was made to implement an optional dev fund as well. And it's a double-edged sword. You know, I feel like these kind of things should be addressed with tokenomics, but, you know, anytime you try and fund operations in such a manner, you run the risk of being classified as a security. And I think most projects can run under the radar of the SEC for a while if they don't have anything that threatens the legacy financial system or they haven't made any enemies. But for those projects that have done both of those two things, typically the spotlight is shined on them and then they have a target on their back. So how do you continue to develop and get funding for development without having to have some type of dev fund built into mining? And I think it's an interesting conundrum and one that really needs all of our attention. You know, as miners, at the moment, somebody pointed this out because I think it was mentioned something like 2% isn't much. And, you know, 2% is not much. And honestly, I don't mind donating. But a lot of us are already mining at a loss. So the question is when is development going to happen at a loss? You know, I think if a lot of us out here are willing to mine at a loss, then development should be done at a loss also, because you're basically placing your bet on that project. You got to have faith in it, and I think there's a way to address this that we haven't found yet, and I really want to have an open discussion about this. And for those of you that are listening to this right now and you're not part of our Discord, I would like to invite you to join the Discord. I think I'm going to create a channel for this, and I just want to have an open discussion about it and see what kind of ideas that we can come up with. So yeah, if you guys haven't joined the Discord, please do so. Next, I wanted to talk about Son of a Tech getting an interview with the Ghostag author. So he is one of the devs, and it's about a 43-minute video. I highly recommend that you guys listen to it. Son of a Tech does ask some very important questions. I think that the 2% miner tax was already addressed in its proposal phase. It has changed. It is optional. Really glad to see that. But I am still a bit concerned about the way it was approached. And I want you guys to continue to voice your opinions in their Discord if you're not in there. But just shout out to Son of a Tech for getting this interview. This was much needed and at the right time, in my opinion. He also asked a lot of questions in regards to the early days of the VC funding. And there's definitely some things in there that you probably want to go take a listen to in case you haven't already. Next, moving on, what else did I have? I saw this: Taiwan's government to deploy team to protect TSMC technologies in the U.S. With the concern that the U.S. may pressure the Taiwanese government to have TSMC move its newest technologies to the U.S., thus weakening Taiwan's importance in the semiconductor industry. Sung Song Wu, the Minister of Taiwan's National Science and Technology, basically gave a talk where he voiced his concerns, and I'm not able to read the rest of this. It's a paid, I guess Digitimes Asia is a paid service to be able to read the rest of the article. But just the headline alone tells us what we need to know, and that is that they're concerned with it and that they're putting in steps. And I do actually have a friend that lives in Austin, and I believe he's in the HVAC business, and he was working at the Samsung plant for quite a while, and he was able to really kind of paint a very clear picture for me on what it's like being inside those facilities. And let me just tell you, according to his opinion, once you step foot on that property, you're not in the US anymore. you are now the foreigner, and you are treated as such, and there's no secrets leaving those buildings. It is very, very locked down, and I'm sure TSMC is going to do the same thing with their new factories being built in Arizona. But I think they do feel very threatened in the sense that they're already expanding. They were initially supposed to only be doing like the 5nm nodes. Now they're talking about the 4 and the 3nm nodes, and they did not want that technology in the hands of the US, but now, you know, they've tripled their investment in the facility, and it's continuing to expand. And yeah, it's just very interesting to see all of this stuff play out. So next, the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was just getting in the Discord. We just talked about it a moment ago, but there's other things in there that you guys should be aware of. If you're watching the channel and you're not in the Discord, there's a lot of people in here that are extremely helpful. I get a lot of comments on the videos asking questions, but honestly, you could probably get your questions answered a lot faster in Discord, and the community is growing very quickly. There's, I don't know, maybe 300 or 400 members at this point, and it's growing every day. But there's going to be some new things that break, and I'll probably share those on Discord before I share them on the channel. So go ahead and jump in there if you haven't already. I want to say thank you guys for watching. Those of you that have been here since the beginning, really appreciate it. You guys are the reason I make these videos. And with that being said, I am out, and I will see you guys tomorrow.